Outside the Red Box, insights into global research equipment distribution. Welcome to the Outside the Red Box podcast, your go-to podcast for insights on growing and scaling life science brands globally. Brought to you by Redbox Direct, we specialize in outsourced sales, distribution, and manufacturing for scientific instruments, with over 20 years of hands-on experience. Let's get started with today's episode.
Have you ever found yourself maybe chatting with an employer, perhaps over coffee, and they just sigh dramatically, lamenting how unlucky they've been with a new hire, especially, in sales?
Oh, yeah. It's almost a universal groan, isn't it?
Totally. Oh, hiring salespeople is different, or some people just have it, and you only know when you see them working.
Mm-hmm. And they tell you the story, right? Put an ad out, interviewed maybe 6 people, 40 minutes each.
Quick decision.
Quick decision, and then, wouldn't you know it, unlucky again. But what if? What if luck in hiring is, well, less about random chance and more a direct result of the effort you put in before anyone even walks in the door?
Right, that old saying.
The harder I work, the luckier I get. It sounds like a cliche, maybe, but our deep dive into the material shows it's really a critical financial truth. Doing that proactive, structured work up front in hiring, it can seriously mitigate those costly failures that, drain resources and really hurt the business, often long before you even realize the full impact.
That's a powerful way to put it. Linking luck straight to, well, deliberate action. And it really brings us to the core problem, doesn't it, what we see so often? So our mission for this deep dive is clear. We want to unpack a detailed, strategic approach, specifically for hiring technical salespeople in the life science industry. We're pulling out these practical, sometimes surprising nuggets from our research to help you, the learner, make, better, more informed decisions.
Yeah, we're exploring how just some simple shifts in approach can lead to much better outcomes, turning what feels like random luck into something predictable. Into success.
Okay, let's unpack this then. The fundamental problem our research flags isn't just like general disorganization, it's that many employers genuinely lack a structured hiring process, which naturally leads to quick decisions, often based on gut feel.
Mm-hmm. And those predictably lead to frequent unlucky outcomes.
It really makes you think of that old saying, fail to prepare.
Prepare to fail.
Exactly.
It sounds almost too simple, right? Just have a process.
Yep.
But the real insight here, the thing that often gets missed, is that not having a structured system isn't just messy, it's a hidden cost center, a really aggressively draining one.
Oh, so?
Well, think about it. Many companies end up spending way more money and time fixing fail hires than they ever would have spent just committing to a solid process up front. Because the costs, they're staggering. Seriously, we're talking positions often cut at 3 to 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's 12 to 24 weeks of salary, overheads.
Yeah.
Just gone. But then add the training time from colleagues, the huge number of management hours usually spent on trying to salvage things with failing employees.
And the lost sales.
And the lost sales. That 3 to 6 months of damage to your sales pipeline, it's massive. So having a process, it's actually a critical financial control, especially in these specialized roles.
That's truly staggering when you lay it out like that. Okay, so let's say we have a process. The next challenge is making sure it's not just some generic checklist, right? Our materials suggest something pretty smart about really tailoring that process. Can you walk us through how that works, especially for, say, a technical sales role in life science?
Absolutely. And this is key. You've got to move beyond that one-size-fits-all mentality. You simply can't use the same hiring process for, let's say, an engineer as you would for a technical salesperson. Their core abilities are just fundamentally different.
Makes sense.
And your process needs to reflect that. So, for instance, if you're hiring for a B2B technical sales job in life science, maybe it involves various interactions, right up to demoing a complex product or discussing tricky regulatory stuff.
Yeah.
Well, your hiring process should actually mirror those demands.
How would you do that?
Okay, so you might start by requiring both a resume or CV and a proper cover letter or email in your ad. It's not just about filtering out people who don't follow instructions, though that's part of it. It immediately shows you candidates whose written communication really shines out.
Yeah.
Which is critical, right? For clear proposals, technical documents.
Good point.
Then maybe move to a short phone interview. Technical salespeople generally need to be reasonably warm, likable.
Yeah.
You can get a quick read on that in a brief call, saves everyone time. You weed out a lot of candidates before a full interview.
Okay.
And for your shortlisted folks, maybe think about a pre-interview task, like give a 5-minute presentation on the benefits of one of your complex products. Or maybe explain a tricky scientific concept simply.
Ah, interesting. So you're testing the actual skills needed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The core idea is if your hiring process kind of resembles the actual sales process they'll be doing day to day, your ability to evaluate them just gets so much better, dramatically better.
That makes perfect sense. Okay, so beyond those individual steps, what about the team aspect of hiring? Seems like interviews are rarely just one-on-one these days.
You're absolutely right. That's critical. One of the strongest recommendations we found was basically never interview alone.
Mm-hmm.
Suggesting a 3-person panel is a good idea. It's often quite surprising what other panelists pick up on. Things they notice maybe while you're asking a question.
Right. Different perspectives.
Exactly. And these panelists don't even have to be sales experts. You could bring in some of your top salespeople, maybe technical support staff. Now, here's the crucial bit, the caution.
Yeah.
You have to guard against groupthink.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Well, the key is, if you're the hiring manager, the boss, don't speak first after the interview. If you do, others might just follow your lead, consciously or not. Instead, make it a rule. No discussion immediately after. Everyone takes a few minutes, writes down their own individual opinions, their own notes. Then, when you get together to review, everyone reads out their notes first, before any real discussion. And actively encourage different views. Say things like, "Oh, that's interesting. I didn't pick up on that. Tell me more about what you saw."
That's a great practical tip. This all leads to a really fundamental point our research just keeps hammering home. Investing the time needed, it feels counterintuitive, doesn't it, in a fast-paced business. But what's the real cost, you think, of rushing this? Especially thinking long-term, like the sales pipeline impact.
Oh, it's truly staggering. A business friend mentioned in our source material often says, hire slowly and fire quickly.
Hmm.
And it's incredibly wise advice because that upfront investment of time, it's nothing compared to the financial and operational wreckage of a bad hire.
Right. We talked about the salary.
Yeah, not just the salary for 3-6 months, but the intense training, the lost management hours spent trying to fix things, and that catastrophic hit to your sales pipeline. Deals that just vanished because the wrong person was in the seat. That's the real cost we often just, ignore or underestimate.
Yeah.
It really makes you ask, for any business, what does it actually take for them to commit to this slower, more deliberate pace, given how clear the benefits are and how devastating the alternative can be?
So, okay, we've got the process, the teams involved. You'd think you're pretty much set. But the research points out this subtle but really powerful trap that interviewers fall into, a warning about what the interview isn't. What are those common assumptions we make that actually kind of sabotage our best efforts?
Yes, indeed. The main trap here is getting wowed by expertise or experience. Now, obviously, those things aren't irrelevant, but they are very often overrated.
How so?
We'll take that example.
Yeah.
You sell complex mass spectrometers in life science. You might easily be impressed, really wowed, by a candidate who has tons of experience using that exact machine in a previous research job.
Sure. Seems like a perfect fit.
Seems like it, right? But the material really emphasizes that ability trumps experience in most situations. Your interview should be designed to check if someone is fundamentally smart enough to learn your product and your specific sales processes.
Ah, the learning ability.
Exactly. Especially in life science sales. Things change so fast. Regulations, new products, competitors. Someone who's genuinely smart enough to learn, who can adapt to new scientific breakthroughs or changing regulations. They often outperform a candidate who just has static experience with an older product line.
That's particularly sharp when you think about sales experience itself.
It absolutely is. The research notes that the highest rate of failed sales hires actually happens when interviewers get overly impressed by just, years of sales experience on a CV. It offers that stark reminder, many people with 5 years experience really have 1 year's experience repeated 5 times.
Ouch. But true.
Yeah. So it's really crucial to screen for the improvers, the people who are adaptable, curious, eager to learn new ways of doing things, not just the one-trick ponies who might look safe on paper, but just can't or won't adapt to your specific sales process or evolve as the market changes.
So you're looking for curiosity, self-improvement.
Yes. Signs of genuine curiosity, a history of maybe seeking out new skills, a willingness to try new methods, not just a list of past wins using one approach.
Okay, so beyond the traditional interview, what other tools can we use to get a more maybe objective or complete picture of a candidate?
Yeah, good question. our material highlights several powerful other tools.
Yeah.
First, think about psychometric profile tests.
Right, those personality tests.
Well, they can be more than just personality quizzes. Properly validated ones are often rigorous psychological tools measuring traits like conscientiousness, openness, resilience. For technical sales and life science, for example, the research suggests looking beyond just basic extroversion. It points to things like detail orientation, crucial for complex product specs and client needs, and high conscientiousness for that disciplined follow-up needed in long sales cycles.
Things you might not easily see in an interview.
Exactly. Qualities that aren't immediately obvious but are highly predictive of success in that role. Second, casual meetings.
Like coffee or lunch.
Yeah. Meeting your final candidates for coffee or lunch just to chat, maybe about life, sports, whatever. It can give you real insight into what they're like when they let their guard down a bit.
What are you looking for there?
It's not just about likability. It's where you might see their natural resilience, how they handle maybe slightly unexpected social situations, their genuine curiosity outside the formal interview box, all surprisingly predictive of how they might handle real-world client interactions.
Interesting. And the third.
Finally, and this is so important, always check references. And crucially, you need to actually speak to the referees. Don't just rely on a written letter.
What should you ask?
Well, beyond the standard, would you hire them again? Our material really pushes asking about specific challenges the person faced in their previous role and how they dealt with them. Ask things like, were there any specific problems or areas where they struggled and how did they respond to that? And definitely ask directly, would you hire this person again for this specific type of role?
And listen carefully.
Listen very carefully for any hesitation, any evasion in the answers. That's usually a pretty significant warning bell.
Okay, really useful tools there. Now, the material also gives us some vital insights into people to watch out for, common red flags that could save a lot of pain later. Which of these did you find maybe the most counterintuitive or perhaps the most commonly missed?
Yeah, these are often quite subtle, but they can be really potent indicators. First, there's the likable non-closer. This is someone genuinely friendly, often quite extroverted.
Yeah.
Great rapport builder. But unfortunately, they lack that bit of assertiveness, that sense of urgency needed. They become the customer's best friend, which seems good, but they really struggle to actually move deals forward to a close.
Yeah.
You need both, right? Relationship and drive.
Right. What else?
Second, we've got the one-trick pony. We touched on this a bit. They look like they have great sales experience on paper, but they can only operate in one specific way. They just won't, or maybe can't, fully embrace your company's unique processes, adapt to new products, or pivot when the market shifts. They're rigid.
Mm-hmm.
And the third?
The third is the begrudger. You can often spot these by the sort of niggling complaints they make about pretty much everyone they've worked for before.
Ah, the blame game.
Exactly. Everything is always someone else's fault. It shows what psychologists call an external locus of control. They think outside forces, not their own actions, dictate their fate. And the research wisely points out, it probably won't be long before they're making those exact same complaints about you. Okay, definitely things to watch for. So after all these strategic steps, all this effort to de-risk the hire, what's the ultimate safeguard? What's the final, maybe the most important step in this whole thing to make sure it keeps getting better?
That's the principle of review and revise. It sounds simple, but it's critical. After you complete a hire success or failure, doesn't matter. It's absolutely essential to sit down with your colleagues, the panel, and debrief.
Ask what went wrong or right.
Exactly. Ask honestly. How could the hiring process itself have been improved? What did we learn this time around? What worked well, what didn't? Then, this is the crucial part, actually write those improvements down. Put them directly into your process document and commit to implementing them for the very next hire.
So it becomes a living document.
Precisely. It transforms hiring from just a series of isolated, often reactive events into a continually improving system, like a scientific process, really. You wouldn't run an experiment, get results, and then never think about how to optimize your method for next time, right?
Yeah, of course not.
Hiring should be no different. Every single hire is a chance to gather data and refine your approach. Make the system smarter.
So as we've really unpacked today, luck in hiring, especially for these complex technical sales roles in life science, it really seems to be the result of hard work, of a well-thought-out, adaptable process, not just some random twist of fate.
It's about designing a system that predictably delivers better results. Building your own luck, if you will.
Building your own luck. I like that.
Yeah. So I'd really encourage you, the listener, to just take a moment and reflect on your own hiring practices. Think about how implementing even just one or two of these structured approaches, maybe aligning the process better with the role, maybe involving multiple people more strategically, guarding against that groupthink, or simply committing to that review and revise step, how that could significantly de-risk your very next hire.
Even small changes can make a big difference.
Absolutely. Even small shifts can yield really massive returns down the line.
And that leads to a final thought, maybe something provocative for you to mull over. If this kind of structured analytical approach can work so well for something as complex and high stakes as hiring technical salespeople, if it can turn luck into predictable success there, what other areas of business, or maybe even other areas of life, could benefit from replacing that hoping for luck with a deliberate process, a process of constant review and revision? What if we applied that rigorous review and revise principle, not just to hiring, but, to every critical decision we make? Something to think about.
Thanks for tuning in with us. For more insights or to connect with our team, visit redboxdirect.com. Until next time, keep scaling smart.